7, 8, 9,000 years ago, when that rain started in the Sahara. Y'all understand this? And so the complex itself, the pyramid complex itself, right, was built prior to the desert coming in. The wobble of the earth changed and the monsoon rains, right, left the grassy land and came down, and now it's a desert now. They noticed. How do they know it was a grassland? Because they take the ocean, they take a tube, right? They put the tube down in the ocean and they bring the tube up, maybe a 20-foot tube. And they cut the tube, and what's left is a circle of dirt, clay. Where you find a light colored sand, right, is when it was desert. Where you find a dark color, right, when the sand was grassland again. And what they show is every 5,000 years, 7 to 8,000 years, right, it switches back and forth. So what I'm telling you is the Sphinx, right, was built prior to 7,000 BCE because of the word Rosenheim. So now what I'm telling you is this is a carving in stone. There is no artifact in Sumer, right? This dating back to that technique. This is the same techniques that were used to carve the pyramids. That's what I'm showing you.
So let me show you.
The evidence is overwhelming.
Okay, no, it's overwhelming to you. But let me ask you this question. You yourself said, okay, first I want to ask you, who did that?
Where you at?
Hold on. Hey, brother. Brother, let me ask you a question. Go ahead. Who did that? Shane Anthony Diaz, Dr. Ben, who did the erosion level? Who studied the erosion levels?
You got a white boy that they went to
a white boy, right?
Yeah, I have a problem.
Okay, cool. Okay, but you say you don't follow that science, but let me tell you.
No, hold on. I never said, first of all, science is an African thing.
I agree with that. But I'm saying to you that you cannot use their erosion levels, you cannot use their carbon dating because it's falsified. And I'm going to prove it right now that it's falsified. You told me that 400 BC was the first dynasty. 4,000 BC. 4,000 BC.
46.
And then you pushing it now.
46. Look at the sky.
Okay, let me see. 46,000 BC, right? You say 46,000 BC is your understanding of the first king.
Not 46,000, man. Stop.
My bad. That's what I'm saying. No. I'm not trying to play on that. I'm not trying. That was messed up. 4,600 is when they had their first king, right? The first dynasty, hold up, brother, let me ask you. The first dynasty is when they had their first king. You telling me 3,000 years before they had their first king, they built the Sphinx?
I am telling you.
Brother, stop it.
Hold on. This brother up. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm trying to help you, y'all. Man, watch this.
I'm listening.
What I'm saying is, right, that they say the first king, but you can go down in Aswan and on cliffs, you can see the processional of Nomar that predates Nomar. So the procession of kings and queens is already in place prior to Nomar coming. So they copy that. You got incense burners with a list of African kings prior to that. Well, they're talking Nubia. Right. And so not just Nubia, because that's like a word. It's really not Nubia. You know what I'm saying? It's really Kush. Yeah. Okay? Or Kushi. Right? We go back, you can take it back to the cartoon culture. Okay? That spreads from Upper Nile all the way down to basically the beginning of the Nile, right? All the way up to Mali, West Africa, right? They call it the wavy line powder. You know what I'm saying? This is 18,000 BCE. 15,000 BCE. So at this juncture, I am getting out of the 4,000 year civilizations which aren't ancient. Hold on. I'm going to take you to deep water. So the Hebrews aren't ancient at all. Right? Kemet is not an ancient civilization because it Kemet, according to Chancellor Williams, Destruction of Black Civilization. He said right now we would travel back to 4,000 BCE, right, and would look at what's the temple Karnak, right? Then we can see that was built on more ancient ruins. At 5,000 BCE, they look at stuff saying it's ancient, right? And so we go back to Nepal Plata. You know that, right? Down in Sudan, okay? When you see the star clocks on the ground, right? Then we go back to Adam's calendar. Then we go back to Pinnacle Point, 190,000 BCE with the first cosmic thought. 190,000 BCE. I like where you go. Verified. And I'm saying there are no Hebrews, there are no Egyptians, and that's called tomfoolery, and you need to take over from here, bro. Okay. I want to put you in place. No Bible, no
$190,000.
All day.
They gave you $18,000.
All day.
All day. How do you date back that far? How do you date back that far, Aki?
Easy.
What technique are you using to date?
You can use carbon dating.
Thank you. Let's stop right there.
I'm not finished.
Okay.
You can use molecule dating, which dates DNA. DNA go back 300,000. Right. You got erosion. Watch this. You got ice ages. Right. So you can't discount dates because when there are ice ages, the water gets sucked up into the ice caps. Right. Then we talk about floods, and when the ice caps start to melt, then civilizations start to flood out. And so we're living on a water planet, so I ain't got a problem with flood stories. Flood stories are really genetic memory of these ice caps melting. That's what pushed the civilization up into that area. That's where you get your Bible flood from. Okay, you got the Bible flood. So we're using carbon dating.
That's not where the Bible gets their flood now from the inundation of the Nile. That's not where they get it.
They talking about the ice cap.
Okay, let me show you this. Now, you said carbon
190,000.
You said carbon dating. I want to answer this now. The carbon dating can only, and they're showing it now to prove, if you look in the Cambridge Encyclopedia, carbon dating can only go back 10,000 years.
Okay.
Now, if you look at erosion levels, when you're developing, each one is a different thousand or a different thousand from erosion levels. Let's stop and let's take the bone of Lucy, right? The bone of Lucy, right?
Yeah, which is she's a hominoid.
Yeah.
Do you agree with me?
Yeah, she's not there.
You're not going with that?
What you mean?
I'm saying you're not going with that. That's a fossil.
It's a fossil, I agree. Right. Yeah, so what I'm saying to you is, Lucy
and how old?
Is found, and she's 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
She's 2.8 million years. Lucy, right?
A little bit older than that.
A little bit older than that, right?
No, she ain't that old.
She ain't that old? How old she is?
I think she's like 1.5, something like that. I don't think
1.5. I'll take any one of them.
She's not a Homo sapien either. So when people say that,
she isn't. Thank you. She isn't because she's more primitive than anything.
Yeah. She's
okay. But let's go with the erosion levels that you use.
That's all Hebrew right there.
Yeah, that's ancient Hebrew. Yes, sir. Did I finish what I'm saying?
I'm saying.
Okay.
I want y'all to teach me that.
I got you, brother. We gonna build. We build.
I want to learn that.
So we had 2.8, right?
Okay.
We had 2.8 million. The problem with Lucy is found on a certain level of the erosion layer. But Lucy legs are found 7 erosion layers underneath her. Is Lucy legs older than her body?
Well, what they do is they got you can test this up inside the bone marrow. You can go inside it and test the.
Because I'm telling you, the erosion levels in the layers is tainted. It's not. Listen, the reason why, because I will go back with you with your flood. The way flood settle things in, it floods it and it settles it in different layers. Just like if you use a cup and you do it and it settles in different layers.
So you saying?
Let me finish before I forget my thought. So now we got a brother, very intelligent brother, beautiful brother. He said that it took man 2.8 million years to create a wheel.
A wheel?
A wheel. He said it took, Brother Ark is saying that it took man 2 million years to create writing.
I ain't saying that.
You saying that?
I ain't saying that.
You saying that? No, listen. The reason why I'm saying you're saying that, because if you give Lucy 2.8 million years, writing, according to most scholars, writing came into play and it was only used to 26 BC. According to him, it was 2600 BC, and it wasn't used for writing and telling stories. It was only used for the transition of goods and record keeping. So you're telling me, okay, but you're telling me that, let's say that you take it back to 190,000 years. You're telling me it took Lucy and her descendants a million years to figure out how to write? It doesn't make sense because it's European history. That's European science that you're using to prove what you're saying.
How old is the writing then?
Huh?
How old is the writing then?
Well, I said the writing goes back to 2600, around 2500.
So you saying the man only is how old?
And I think that hold on, let me say this. And writing could be older than that, but everything that happened before the flood was destroyed.
That's not. There's no record of that.
There's no record of it. I'm telling you.
You think it's a planetary flood? The whole planet was underwater?
Well, I'm telling you. I believe it was. I believe it was a planetary flood. Yes, sir.
So you can't really verify. You just believe it. It ain't really.
You can look at the mines that's over here. That it's flooded the way the carbon and the coal is flooded over here. That the flood had to hit over here. It had to be a massive flood that hit over here.
The reason is
right?
Listen, all right, the Laurentide ice sheet. You know what the Laurentide ice sheet is?
Okay.
The Laurentide ice sheet covers like 1/3 of North America. Okay, and this is what formed Lake Michigan, the Great Lakes, which formed Niagara Falls. Okay, and they can date that. Watch this. Since you want to talk about dating, they can date back to when Niagara Falls was formed. Watch this. Because of the time it takes, right, for Niagara Falls to erode back the land underneath of it. They can actually, in reverse, go back the other way, right? They can count in inches how long it takes for that water to erode the land. So that's another dating process of erosion. They can look at right now, right? But look at stuff. Hold on. You can look at stuff.
So you agree with me? Carbon dating doesn't work, right?
No, I'm saying carbon dating does work, and I'm saying they have other methods of dating, and I'm saying everything is not an exact science, but they're working on science. And that's why we have science. So because science is not complete, it's continuing.
All right, I understand it, and it grows and develops.
Absolutely. So they can make mistakes. So
but you're taking and jumping on the bandwagon of a European. Okay, you're using a European terminology or breakdown.
Dr. Ben.
Let me ask you a question.
Dr. Ben.
Okay. Listen.
Arby.
Okay. Well, let's use Dr. Ben. Let's use any of the things that you're saying. If you have to count out carbon dating, because carbon dating cannot go past 10,000 years, it's been proven. All the
that's not the truth.
It's the truth.
It's not the truth.
It's the truth.
I just did you say that.
All right.
Where's your
Look it up.
Where's your verse?
Look it up. I don't have a book here, but look it up. I'm telling you that carbon dating wasn't made to count back millions of years. It cannot count back millions of years.
They're dealing with the radiation.
Go to the Cambridge Encyclopedia.
You understand that?
All right.
That's how they do that. They deal with stuff.
What I'm saying to you, let's go to the European professionals who we like to use. And go to the Cambridge Encyclopedia and check that out. All right, let's move forward because we're gonna go back and forth on that.
We're gonna go back. So you trying to say man is only how old?
I say man is around 6,000 years old.
So how do you get the Nubian complex? You have the Nubian complex. How do you discount the Stone Age? The Nubian complex.
It's because you're dating it back to civilization where you giving dinosaurs and Stone Ages and all of this.
So dinosaurs aren't real.
Dinosaurs are real. They're in the Bible.
As a whale. As a whale.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that in Hebrew.
So what's the word? What's the word?
It's not. All right, in Hebrew is Hatananim Hagadolim. In Genesis 1:20, Hatananim Hagadolim.
It means what?
It means Gadol means giant. Tananim means reptiles. So in Genesis 20, that's the interpretation that is given. Only Europeans tell you dinosaurs existed before man. So let me explain this. Let me explain this, brother.
Go ahead.
And let's use science. We want to use science. Every ancient civilization has a story of dragons coexisting with man, right? Now, if you look at a dragon is what? A large reptile, which is the same thing as the breakdown of the understanding of a dinosaur. But I want to go into this to prove that what I'm saying about my 6,000 years, right?
Where are you going, ancient? That's the final word.
Okay, but I don't want to get caught up in words. Let me finish my thought. Okay, my modern dinosaurs, all the modern writings show dinosaurs or dragons, right? Now, if we go into a state where we're looking at it as far as how can we correlate it with science,